Okay, so I'm going to talk about Ice Lightning Mage, the Explorer branch of mages. So I hope you like it. I love this class, and at the end, I hope you bird one. So here, the reason why I started playing Ice Lightning Mage is first because of nostalgia. I used to play the Ice Lightning Mage back in Brazilian Maple Story in around the 2000s. Uh, was one of the original classes. It was way different back then. But the thing I like the most about Ice Lightning is one particular skill that they have now, is, which is this one. If you ever play Diablo, you will recognize this skill. This is Frozen Orb. It's a ball of ice that throws ice crystals around, and you can know where I am going with this. So Ice Lightning Mages have this skill, the Frozen Orb, which I'm going to talk about a lot on this presentation, which is one of my favorite skills in the game. So when I came back to MapleStory recently, like a year ago, I started playing Ice Lightning, and I was like, I really like this class. It's fun, it's flashy, and it's cool. Do you get it? It's a cool class because it's Ice Mage. Ooh, yeah. So this one of the reasons I played Ice Lightning in the past is this skill, the Chain Lightning. I just love the way the lightning is bouncing around. It's an archetype of skill that always drew me, regardless of the game. Whenever I see lightning, a Chain Lightning bouncing around in a game, it's always the class I choose. So Maple Story wasn't different. This is my favorite skill, and I just enjoy watching Chain Lightning bouncing around. So Chain Lightning was the one of the main training skills just before the last Dreamer patch. Now we have another one main skill, but I still enjoy going around and throwing Chain Lightnings to see them jumping around. So the main mechanic of the Ice Lightning Mage is the freezing stacks. So I guess most of you have played Ice Lightning already because you have to do Legion or a teleport class. So I'm going to highlight the differences between the Ice Lightning Mage and the other mages. So the first one is the freezing stacks. So the ice skills, they add freezing stacks to the monsters, and then when you attack them with lightning skills, it's going to either use the ice stacks to create more effects or increase your damage. So we have 4 passives that they max out when we have max freezing stacks, which is 5. So you always want to keep refreshing the freezing stacks on the mobs, so we can always be dealing more damage, because the lightning skills are going to consume the freezing stacks. So there's a lot of free stats: crit rate, ignore defense, final damage, damage, and crit damage, which makes Ice Lightning very have a fairly decent early game damage wise. It's not something great like Marksman that eats through the early game, but there's a lot of free damage that helps a lot if you are starting the character. So since we are Explorer Mage, we have to deal with Infinity. Infinity is a buff that the Explorer Mages have, which is either loved or hated by everyone. Everyone has a very bold opinion on Infinity. So I'm going to talk a lot about Infinity now, because it's one thing you have to learn to like to play an Explorer Mage. If you play Bishop or Fire Poison, it's the same concept. It's just that for Ice Lightning, since you are a burst class, you have to control your Infinity better. So Infinity is a buff that increases your damage. It has a 40 seconds base, your final damage, sorry, and 3 minutes cooldown. So the thing is, during this time, if you have no buff duration, which increases Infinity uptime, you are going to have a huge window of um, downtime on your buff. So when you get buff duration, which this class has a lot of passives that give buff duration, and you get your Legion, Legion Greed, Legion artifacts, and other sources. So for instance, I have this value of buff duration here. Your duration is going to scale a lot. So I have the almost triple time on my Infinity. But the downtime is going to reduce a lot. So without context, this Infinity just looks like bursting buff, but it's not. It's actually a ramping up buff because you start the moment you activate Infinity, you gain 17% FD, uh, which will increase by 3% every 5 seconds to a maximum of 115 FD. So you want to start the Infinity and let it cook for a while before you reach the maximum FD bonus. And then after it's maxed, it stops stacking and stays in this value until the end of the duration. So basically, what you want to do is start your Infinity and let it stack and cook for a while. And then when Infinity stops stacking, you want to burst because it's going to be your highest point in strength. And after that, Infinity ends and is still on cooldown, and you are weak and set for a while. So what do you do during this downtime? So basically, um, we have to deal with Infinity management. So what is that? You have to know the boss as well, and you have to know your class well. So we are going to burst in a minute, so I have to start Infinity now. So I have X seconds left on my Infinity, so I have to plan accordingly. So basically, playing Explorer Mages is managing Infinity because your damage completely relies on it. Without Infinity, your damage is complete garbage. So, since we have Infinity, you have to deal with this downtime here. But fear not, we have another 50 job skill from the Explorer Mages called Unreliable Memory. So this skill allows you to copy another skill from your class. Each of the Explorer Mages can copy another skills, and between the skills that you can copy is another Infinity. So you have access to 2 Infinities now. So basically, if you time your Infinities well, you will always have Infinity stacked for your bursts. So basically, um, if you have Infinity full time, what's the problem? You shouldn't have to deal with anything, right? So the thing is, here, Infinity Unreliable Memory actually has random cooldown. So it has a fixed cooldown, but when you cast, you have a chance to reduce the cooldown by a certain percentage. So basically, you want to max this skill ASAP because it reduces the chance of getting low values of cooldown reduction. So you can always have Infinity uh, up. So this is a table that goes around in the Explorer Mages community. So basically, how you read this. Um, Here, let me draw on this table here. Here. So basically, we have here the amount of CDR here that's going to be cast. So I cast Unreliable Memory, and it reduces the cooldown to by 20%. And then this is the cooldown in seconds for Unreliable Memory. So counting with your normal infinity and your infinity duration, you have this infinity uptime here. So if your normal infinity lasts 1 minute, counting both infinities, you are going to have only half of infinity uptime. So there's a lot of combinations and a lot of chance distribution. So how to read this table? You basically want to be on the right side of this curve, because on the right side is 100% infinity uptime. So the minimum value you have to have your normal infinity is 1 minute for the maximum CDR amount, which is 65%, occurring at 1% rate. But most of the time is going to reduce by 20%. So the minimum value for all occasions, regardless of how much CDR you are getting when you cast Unreliable Memory, is 131 infinity duration, which is 262 buff duration around. Oh, sorry, 220 buff duration. So you can get around here in buff duration without any events between 183 or 188, depending on your mechanic legion. So basically, you are statistically guaranteed to have infinity uptime, unless you get really, really, really unlucky, which is like less than 1% um, chance of getting like a few seconds of downtime. So this is the reason why you want to max your buff duration and max your uh, unreliable memory skill as soon as possible. They are the absolute priority to playing Explorer mages. So this locks you into a scenario where you need high Legion to play this class, because it's the only source of easy buff duration other than inner ability and mechanic block. So to summarize, you want always more buff duration. The more you have, the more time you stay in the fully stacked infinity, which takes around 17.5 seconds or 1 minute fully stack. So more than that, it's more time in full damage, in full gear mode, so you can deal more damage. So basically, you want to be big and greedy for buff duration, which is a reality for all Explorer mages, but Fire Poison, for example, just doesn't care as much as Ice Lightning. So this is my buff durations. So I have 10% for empathy and 38% from inner ability. My Legion is the grid plus mechanic, 60%. Legion artifact, 20%. And my skills, which include the fourth drop skill buff mastery and an event buff. So this adds up to 193, which leads me around here on Infinity uptime. So you have, if I have a downtime on Infinity, it's going to be less than 2% of the time. So this is how to read this table. So well, we have to manage Infinity and look into the future to see when you are going to need Infinity fully stacked. So more reasons I placed this class other than Infinity, which you will end up liking, you liking or not. So I forgot to tell. Tomorrow, next update, we are getting a special buff UI so you can see your infinity duration. So for currently, it's hard to see where infinity is and to control the cooldowns and duration because it stays on the buff windows on the top uh, right after your screen. It's always switching positions and it's hard to find the buff, hard to see how much is left, and hard to time. So for next patch, we expect uh, a huge improvement in inventory management. So another thing about Ice Lightning is the huge mobility. Oh, here. Oh, sorry. Here. Uh, so this Ice Lightning has a passive which increases your teleport distance. So between all mages and all teleports, Ice Lightning is the one that goes the farthest. So this allows you to reach platforms that no other classes can. So here, if you ever fought Gollux with a teleport class, you know you need to teleport twice to avoid the red skill. With Ice Lightning, you just need to teleport once, and you're safe from danger. And skipping ahead, here for the second phase of Gollux, Ice Lightning is actually the only class that can teleport to the ground straight up. So you can dodge the hand and go back up without having to jump. It's the only teleport that goes this far and allows you to do some teleport tricks that no other class can, like duck teleporting to dodge a lot of things that other classes can't, but just by duck teleporting. You can teleport in the air to stick to platforms and huge heights that other classes can't. So I consider this the best teleport between the classes, barring Battle Mage, because Battle Mage is teleport is really busted. But barring Battle Mage, between all mages, this is my favorite teleport. The other teleports from other classes after I play Ice Lightning, they just seem very short. So huge mobility, easy to control, and it's going to make a huge difference in your map coverage. As for what?
Yes, please.
Okay. So for bossing, we just saw a really complicated class where you have to press a lot of buttons and specific order and combo animation cancel. So IL mages have nothing of this. You just need to place down your summons and then cast Jupiter Thunder, which is this skill right here. You have to cast this first because it increases your lightning skill's final damage for a certain time. And then you use Bolt Barrage and Lightning Orb, and then finish with your normal skills that have no cooldown. So it's a really fast burst and very condensed, which is very good for party play because you can make use of a lot of short duration strong buffs like Ring of Restraint. So here I just place my summons and then use my skills in order. And less than 10 seconds, my burst is over. So it's very fast, very condensed. Um, and actually, it's getting faster on next update because Lightning Orb, this skill right here, has a huge animation, it lights a lot, and has a lag animation when you end the skill that locks you in place and you can do anything else that lasts like forever. And they are removing basically this end lag duration, reducing it by over half, and reducing the lightning orb duration from almost 4 seconds to 2 seconds. So our burst is getting faster actually. Um, so no shenanigans, no complicated tricks. Just press your skills in order, and then you are good to go. A very simple class to play. As for, I was going to talk about something I forgot now. Anyway, I'll remember later. Oh, for Ice Lightning is a 2 minutes class that likes Ring of Restraint. and Ring of Restraint is a 3-minute cooldown. So for ring swapping, you need weapon jump ring. So you can cast your first 2 minutes burst with Ring of Restraint, and then your second burst with weapon jump, and then your third burst back to Ring of Restraint. Unless you have both, it's just better to use Continuous Ring, which he makes a very good use of, because this skill right here, Bolt Barrage, has only 40 seconds cooldown. So you cast very often, and Lightning Orb and Ice Age, they have both 1 minute. So you are constantly using mini bursts, which helps a lot in longer fights. Which makes Continuous Ring very good for this class. So here, so this we have the feature which is a slow when you attack monsters with your here let's see, your ice skills. You are going to place a debuff on them. I'm going to accelerate this video by 2. So here is Black Mage phase 3. This works for almost all bosses. So let's see. Um, Here his normal speed. So he walks around and chases you. And if you ever played Black Mage, you know you have to keep him in a certain position, and it makes it very hard because he's always walking around. For normal bosses too, they follow you, and you have to run away and something. Some bosses you really want to keep them in place. So this is his normal speed. He's zooming around the map, and then when you attack, then with ice skills, it's going to slow them, and the slow is very strong. So let's see here. I'm going to cast my slow sometime around now. So watch his walking speed. He basically can't chase me anymore, so it's very easy to keep him in a correct spot. Takes forever to even leave this place, and you can kite virtually any boss up to calling. So your chain lightning range is very high, so you auto range most bosses. So you can just slow them, and they can never reach you. And even if they teleport to you, you can teleport away. Because your teleport goes very far. So basically, you never have to worry about bosses uh, doing those weird shenanigans or tricks or something, because they basically can't reach you. So the amount of slow on this boss on Black Mage is insane, which is one of my favorite reasons to play Ice Lightning Mage. You can slow the hell of everything. So fun fact, I have never up to some days ago I had never fought Black Mage without the slow. So when I saw him zooming around without slow the first time, I was like, "Girl, this girl can run." It was very weird for me because I'm so used to slowing bosses that when I see their normal walking speed, it frightens me. So we have a class iframe, which is also our bind, which is the dragon, ice dragon, or freezing breath. So this is a skill which you hold. You can hold up to 13 seconds, and it's getting nerfed tomorrow to 10 seconds. Um, During this time, you are immune to any damage, so it's very useful for dodging hard patterns or using as iframe, because you as being a mage, you have also uh, e-form to dodge stuff. So since it is your bind, you just don't want to use as iframe, but it's a long bind, so it lasts longer than other classes. It's 13 seconds, and also reduces defense by 30%, which is basically free IED for your whole party. Uh, but it's getting changed tomorrow, so I'm not sure how it's gonna go from there. As uh, it's reducing the cooldown to 2 minutes instead of three, so it aligns with our burst cooldown. And they are changing the duration from the key down to 13 to 10. so it aligns with normal binds. Damage-wise, Ice Lightning is considered a safe mid-class. It's always in the middle. It's not a bad class per se, but it's not like Nightwalker that can deal a huge amount of damage compared to other classes. It's fine as a class. It does its job. It's just good. Love Pink. It's a good class. We're in a really good spot. They fixed a lot of things recently, like Bolt Barrage, which is the lightning rain. Basically, before you had to cast Bolt Barrage, and then lightnings would come until they reach a wall. You could not stop them, and now you can stop them in place, which changed the whole dynamic of the class. And this patch tomorrow, they are fixing a lot of bugs and increasing the decreasing lightning orb duration and increasing the damage basically. So we are back to our identity as very condensed burst class. The damage is good. I won't complain. It's just that other classes are really busted. But we because they make a very good use of bishops or other classes FD stacking. Um, so since the FD stacking is getting changed, we might see Ice Lightning on the rise for the next months. 2-minute classes are back on the menu, boys. So for training, let's talk about this diva right here, the Frozen Orb. So if you remember her, he is the here the ball of ice that shoots crystals from the 4th job class. It's getting a huge upgrade on X. So basically, it's going to triple the size of the ice ball, and it's going to reach much farther. And basically, it's a FMA attack for training, which is one of the reasons that Ice Lightning is one of the best training classes in the game. So if you didn't like the Frozen Orb before, you sure are going to now. So let's see a video of me training. This is Top Deck 8. Arteria maps are known for being very unfriendly for most classes. So this map right here, I'm just gonna go around to show how big it is. So lots of platforms, the mobs are very spread around. There's very few classes that can train in this map efficiently or even lazily. So I start here with Ice Age and place my summons, my class summon, the Fountain, and then the balls from Dusk. And then I just stay here throwing my Frozen Orb, my extra Frozen Orb. It's going to basically wipe the whole map. So this is the Ice Lightning Mage after X training. So this is 18k map, and here I am showcasing how every single wave I'm killing the whole map just by standing still. So let me accelerate the video. So since you need your oh, what did I do? What did I do? Here. Oh, yeah, it's changing now. So since you start your between each cycle, you're going to use your Ice Age. What I was talking about is uh, Ice Age. It's a 1-minute cooldown skill that covers the platforms on the screen in ice, and this ice is going to wipe the screen for a while. It lasts 15 seconds. So basically, you can cast Ice Age and then go around resummoning your everything every 1 minute. And since the cooldown aligns with your summons, it's a very smooth rotation. So basically, you only have to pay attention to Ice Age skill, which is on my second slot on my skill bar. So when Ice Age comes out of cooldown, I cast Ice Age, and then my other summons are going to come back in order. So here I go. I cast Ice Age here. when the map appears. Then I replace my summons. Class summon, V summon, and then the dusk, the dawn, sorry. And then that's it. That's the rotation. So I go back to my spot and keep casting my ice orb whenever it's up. So let's see if I can skip ahead here. I wanted to showcase how far it goes. I showed it somewhere here in here. So I followed my orb, so you can see how far it goes here. Let's see again. So here, I'm going to follow the orb around here. Here. Yeah, I cast the orb and then I follow it around. So it goes very far. This map is huge. In other maps, it basically covers the whole platform. And it's disguised FMA. So it's very simple to train, very easy. Uh, so this is a perfect training by doing basically nothing. So very chill class to play, very easy. And here. So this class doesn't require a lot of mechanical fingers or hands or mechanical prowess. You have to basically manage infinity, and the gameplay is very easy. It's more of I have to keep track of the cooldowns and cast the things in the correct time. It's different from classes that have to play a lot of combos and do a lot of stuff at the same time, like Evan here for the same result. And it's one of the reasons I like playing Ice Lightning, because I don't have to worry about doing complicated combos and doing stuff all around. Yeah, so this is Ice Lightning. If anyone has a question or comment, thank you for listening.